Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Roll20 Presents D&D's Adventurers League. I am joined by some familiar faces and by some new nerds, and I'm super excited. How's everybody doing? Are we excited to play D&D?
I'm so
Always.
excited.
Oh my God,
100%.
Yes, good. So, seeing that this is our first episode, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves? You don't have characters yet, so you get to be yourself. This is the only time you're allowed to be you.
Sweet. Oh,
Though, Elf, let's start with you because that's a little confusing. Because you're an elf. I believe was it
yeah.
Dave? Was it you that was saying before we started that if Elf didn't play one, you'd be very confused?
Yeah, if I didn't play an elf, he'd be like, I don't know what to say about it, but I might not be playing an elf, just saying.
What?
So
So
Elf has to be an elf. Blue Jay has to be a bird. Andrew, you have to be a bicycle, and Dave, you can be either a human or a robot, whichever, depending.
Uh,
All right, sorry. Go ahead, Elf.
no
Tell us
problem.
a little about yourself.
I'm Distracted Elf. I do Twitch streaming things. I'm a partnered streamer on Twitch, variety streamer. I mostly do games where I get to name stuff after viewers and then kill them horribly, like XCOM or RimWorld or you know all the things where that kind of happens. And I play a lot of D&D and stuff and other games when it's available. Sometimes host my own. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I started following you on Twitter, you were posting LARP photos, which I was super excited about.
Yes. I LARP far too much on the weekends. Far too much. I'm in like 3 games. And this weekend I'm going out to be my sadistic, horrible wild elf in the woods tomorrow, actually, and through the weekend. And she's an awful person. It's great.
That's what LARP is for, right?
Yeah.
Pretending you're an awful person when you hope
She's
you're not
not-
really one.
She's a horrible person.
Well, that's cool. So do you do like North American style, like throwing lightning bolt balls at people LARP?
Yeah, I mean, I play a system called Underworld mostly, and they're sort of like rules heavy, but not so complicated that you can't get into it. It's a buffer system, so it's like you're actually fighting with like fake weapons, and then you call damage while you're doing it, sort of thing.
Cool.
Though I play mages, so I get to do the lightning bolt thing and just be like, by force of will, I rend your blade, or whatever.
And then throw a tennis ball at them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. LARPing is one of the like parts of role playing that I have not done much of. I played a couple of like short form Nordic LARPs, but have next to no experience with the elf ears in the forest.
I hear there's an Underworld chapter opening in BC somewhere soon. So check that out.
All we have to do is add a couple of extra days to the week, and bam, I can get my LARP on.
I feel you.
Awesome. Well, Andrew is also joining us. Andrew, there's a running tally already of how many characters you're going to have die in this game.
There's like a pool going.
Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about why people might think that?
No, it's a secret. So I'm Andrew. I've been doing these Roll20 shows with Adam for a while now, including notoriously the Moldave D&D game that we did, where I had first death and most deaths, and pursued that very gleefully.
Yeah, your achievement screen was very, very racked with skulls.
That's about right. And so what's my deal? I do these shows with Adam. I stream my own stuff sometimes. Mostly lately it's been like painting miniatures, and then I have a regular job where it takes up most of my time and it's really inconvenient. So that's why people don't see as much of me on the internet as I might like.
I've been very into your miniature painting streams lately. They're super cool. It's fun watching you do a thing I have no ability to do. It's like watching you use Photoshop. I'm like, how did you make that happen? I think you might be a sorcerer. Speaking of sorcery, did you want to reintroduce your shirt to the audience?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's fine. The shirt
amazing.
is great.
It's glorious.
But, okay, fine. If you insist. It's the queen with diamonds for eyes. There's French fries and a fan of Big Ben's in the background. I don't know.
So glorious.
It's a beautiful shirt. Thanks for bringing it. Also, Andrew, thanks for being here, as a person, not just a shirt mannequin.
Yeah, I'm not just a vehicle for the shirt, okay? The shirt is an expression of me.
Fair. Well, speaking of British things, Dave, you see that? You like that segue?
Wow.
Well, I mean, Dave,
Quality
you're also a familiar face here on the channel. Would you like to tell us
Sometimes.
a little bit about yourself, and maybe you've got some XP with the D&Ds, right? You've played a lot of 5e. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've played a bunch of 5e. I think that's my pedigree. The reason I'm allowed on here. Meaning next, but oh god, I shouldn't have said that because now everyone will scrutinize what I do. No, but I'm not hugely like the internet like everybody else. I've streamed I think like 6 times total ever, which was alright, but you know
That's 6 more times than most people on Earth.
yeah, no, that's very true, and it did seem to get a bit of a following, but I'm kind of useless, so I haven't done it very much.
So you've been on a bunch of the Roll20 shows. What's your favorite character that you've played so far? Because I know the audience has favorites, but I want to know what yours is because I don't think I've ever asked you.
You know, if there was a character who I would have liked to explore a bunch more, it probably would have been Iori from Mage.
Mhm.
Despite not like really enjoying Mage a huge amount, there being problems with the game, I really like the character.
Cool.
But yeah, speaking of characters who people might like or know of, I mean, I just want to put this out there. If I do this, then I thought of it first because I knew the campaign was coming before everybody else guessed it during the reveal. Okay.
Dave has some
Unlike
thoughts. So you're going to be playing an awkward teenager with a giant sword in D&D, is what you're saying?
I might be playing a sneaky one as well, though. I mean, who knows? There was a survivor to Mulvey. There is a D&D character who already exists for me.
That's true. That's very true. I forgot that you still have
Soul
a living
survivor.
character. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Dave. And last but certainly not least, our brand new D&D nerd,
Brand spanking.
here to be turned into a dork. You got your Cheetos and your Mountain Dew ready, Blue Jay?
No, but I have loads of coffee, so I think I'm ready.
Awesome, good.
Blue Jay, I've never, ever played a D&D campaign before, so I'm really, really excited. I was like reading up last night and watching some D&D stuff that you've done before, and so I was like studying for my like epic test today. I am a variety streamer on Twitch. I stream games and I also stream cooking. Mostly games because I hate cleaning my kitchen. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited.
And I'm really excited too. I'm excited to have everybody. So for folks who didn't see the little preamble video I did last week, we're making a friendly alliance with the Adventurers League, which is a organized play group for Dungeons and Dragons. And it is designed to get people into playing D&D and to create sort of a modular adventure-based experience. So it works out nicely. We're going to be running the first season of the Adventurers League, which is called Tyranny of Dragons. I imagine there will probably be dragons in it at some point. And and so each week we'll take on one or more, depending on whether we're doing a short adventure or not, of these little Adventurers League adventures. And between sessions, like when you finish an adventure, everybody will earn days, like downtime days, that their characters can spend to improve, to train, learn new languages, do all the sort of fun stuff that they're doing when they're not out adventuring. So what I wanted to do with this session, and going forward, we'll probably do all our character creation if it's necessary, like off screen. But since Blue Jay is brand new and some folks probably haven't played 5e before in the audience, we wanted to do character creation on screen. So much to the cast's chagrin, I've been not allowing them to make their characters. And I know that's been tough. So it's time. The time has come for everyone to make characters.
Yes.
You're allowed now. So we've got a brand spanking new Roll20 account set up just for the campaign, and I've assigned everybody a blank character sheet. And what we can do is just talk about the characters that you want to make, what kind of characters you might want to play, and a little bit about the ways that Adventurers League characters might be different from what the normal sort of player's handbook D&D allows or gives you to play with. So before we do anything, does anybody have any kind of character or anything in particular that they are like just itching to play? Anybody just like raring to go to play a specific kind of character?
I have two separate classes that either one would be good for me. I'd like to play either monk or a warlock.
Okay.
Those are my two picks.
Cool. All right. So monk being kind of like a bit of a rogue, bit of a fighter, give you the ability to like move around a little bit, kind of a support class in the sense that you're not going to be like up front fighting monsters by yourself, but you're not going to be necessarily at the back throwing fireballs. And then warlock is the very much the sort of glass cannon hurling green flame at people from a distance.
Yeah, that one.
Cool. All right, that sounds good. Andrew, do you have any preference for character?
I like this idea of putting forward two options, so I'm gonna follow suit. I was thinking something like a cleric or something like a barbarian.
Okay.
Both fantastic.
Yeah. Clerics, I'm a fan of clerics myself. I like playing clerics.
No, you play doctor.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a cleric, he's a doctor. So cleric would be very useful to have in the party because they can keep the characters from dying. So that's a useful ability. And then also eventually, repel the undead and call forth miracles. And then barbarians are very good at flipping out and wrecking shit. So also useful. Not necessarily as good as a frontline fighter, as a fighter or paladin might be, but lots of damage and fairly good sustainability in terms of like taking hits. What I think is interesting about building a party is you're kind of trying to work not only on making your character, but looking at the party as sort of an organism and making sure it has the right hard parts and spiky bits and laser eyes that it needs to be a successful adventuring group. So. Cool. Okay. So I can see you're starting to spread these out. Blue Jay, do you have anything like type of character? You don't have to necessarily go for like specific class, but like anything in the game you're interested in doing or trying out?
Well, I've always wanted to have magic. But I understand that might be more difficult for a first timer because of rolling for spells and stuff. I don't know. But I also thought about possibly like a stealth character type. So that could be really fun too. My thoughts were pretty much along the lines of maybe druid, maybe rogue.
Nice. Druid's a good choice too. Druid's really good for, you get a lot of like variety out of a druid, and then later if you take the shape-shifting paths, you could turn into like a bird or an alligator. I
would actually be a bird.
A giant boar or whatever. Yeah, druids are really fun.
That could be really cool.
Yeah. So that's a good option. I like that. And then sneaking also is good. Rogues do a lot of damage when utilized correctly. So cool. All right. So like druid or rogue maybe. Dave, how are you feeling character wise?
Yeah, I like the two thing as well. So if I narrow it down,
I started a trend.
Yeah. If I narrowed it down, I would probably want to do also rogue for reasons, and perhaps paladin as well. I'd like to do one of those probably. But cool. I also really like wizards and sorcerers and druids.
So basically anything. Like
Calm down, Dave.
Pick two. I mean anything.
Dave is the Swiss Army PC. Are you going to end up at level 5 with 5 level 1 multi-class options, Dave?
Yeah, so good.
Listen, if you can't decide, just be a bard. Just go ahead and be a bard. That's all.
Yeah, let's not forget
Sing everything.
the most important class of all, the bard.
That's right. The forgotten bard. So in the Tyranny of Dragons storyline, we can use anything from the D&D basic rules PDF. So all the rules except rolling ability scores and hit points, and there are a few alignment restrictions.
Cool.
And then anything from the player's handbook except those two things as well. So as we do, like if we go in later on down the line and we do some of the other seasons, they'll incorporate other materials. So there's, different classes or race options that you can take. But for right now, we're keeping it nice and basic. So all of that stuff fits within that. So it sounds like you've got somebody who wants to play, like one of their options to be someone like tough, right? There's maybe a paladin or a barbarian. It looks like there's some options for spellcasters. So it's good. You're not all like, let's all play rogues, which is a good start.
I was thinking, everyone chooses a rogue.
Two rogues, a monk, and
I mean, we could do that if you'd prefer. Like,
no, I don't care, but
like
that kind of party does not have staying power.
We'll be stealthed the whole time. Come upon somebody in the forest. We're just like, stab.
yeah.
Right. The solution to every problem is to
This
stab.
is totally lawful good. Stab.
I choose violence. Okay, so we've got like these two options for each of us. Now we have to narrow it down to the one option because otherwise we're just going to sit here and be like, well, we have these options. So.
Well, I think it depends on what works best with the group as a whole. We've all got like ideas for maybe a spellcaster and then ideas for maybe more of a like fighting class. So it'd be interesting to see which direction.
I'm sort of swinging harder towards the monk, in my opinion, for me.
Okay.
So if you guys don't mind having a monk, I'd like to play one.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Or the warlock if not.
Yeah.
Do the monk. Go for it.
Monk. All right. We're going to punch things and quarterstaff them.
Do it.
Yeah, awesome.
My first Diablo character was a monk.
Let's do it.
Cool. All right. So on your character sheet, you can select monk from the drop down.
Oh yeah.
And it'll auto do a couple of things for you.
Okay, I see.
Select your saving throws, and it'll give you your little key option. In the bottom.
Okay, I'm gonna be a cleric because we need one.
Okay. All right. So a monk.
Someone's gotta keep you clowns alive.
Oh shit.
A monk and a cleric. Okay. All right. So that leaves. Looks like you could probably use somebody that's like a little like tougher. I mean, the cleric can handle their own, but like a paladin or a fighter or a barbarian, something like that. And then it sounds to me like if you want to make your magic dreams come true, Blue Jay, you have options. You can be a druid because druids will get magic, but you could also be like a wizard, a sorcerer, something like that if you feel like it.
I kind of like the idea of being able to shapeshift.
Okay.
So would that be just a druid thing, or because it says druid, sorcerer, warlock, or wizard, like what are the differences here?
Yeah, so the druid is a bit more kind of multi-purpose, right? Because you can you'll be able to shapeshift, you'll be able to cast some spells. You're like a reasonably decent fighter. You'll have all the sort of nature skills available to you. So survival and scavenging kind of stuff will be available. So lots of different options. So that way, if you're not totally focused on one particular thing, you've got some other skills you can kind of fall back on. And then a wizard and a sorcerer and a warlock are all fairly similar in terms of like they are kind of fragile and they cast magic spells. But wizard is sort of like the Harry Potter archetype, right? You've got like a spell book and you learned the magic words and you wave your wand and you cast spells. Sorcerer has some kind of internal power source, like, dragon blood somewhere in their heritage, or like chaos magic. They were born under a bad sign. They don't memorize spells from a book. They just channel that power into spell forms. Some of which, like the rules functionally, they're quite a bit like the same, right? You'll have a slightly different list of spells, but the way you get at those spells, you're a little more flexible than a wizard. And then a warlock has made a deal with some kind of extra planar entity for power. So a demon lord or a fairy prince or some other kind of like creature from the beyond. And that entity gives you your power. It allows you to cast spells and...
Okay, so for what I'm hearing, Most of these you're calling like glass cannons, except for the druid is probably less likely to get me killed.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go with druid because it sounds a little less like I'm just gonna step a little too far forward and get
Hell yes.
murdered.
Yep.
So let's do that.
Solid choice. Cool. Okay. So Dave, what do you think? We've got a druid, a monk, a cleric. What do you feel like? What do you feel like?
I feel like Paladin is doubling down a bit too much on survivability and utility, just because Cleric's already there, Druid also has spellcasting, and Monk is good in sort of the same situations as Paladin.
Yeah.
So I could go Rogue, which would be fun, or I could go like pure caster as well. Which is tricky.
Yeah, because I think either of those would fill the like damage gap, right? Because that's kind of the one thing that you could use a little more of.
I mean, what my input there, Dave, would be if you do rogue, I don't have to focus on stealthy things because that aspect of the monk where like I could do stealth things, I could focus instead on like strength things, you know?
Yeah, totally.
That might work.
Yeah, in terms of like,
less Ninja Warrior and more Street Fighter fireball throwing tricks, more fire bending.
Yeah, I think I might go Rogue.
Oh, that's so weird that Dave would play a rogue. That's so fun. Their name will be like what, the Darkness, or in all caps, whatever it is.
Shadowborn 666.
Lord Darkraven Shadowclaw the Third. Cool. All right, rogue is good. I like that. Sneaking is fun, and then shooting arrows at people from that sneaky position is also fun. All right, cool. So so in your character sheet, just go ahead and set your class, and then we'll also want to select a race for your character. So all the races that are in the basic rules or the player's handbook are available, including the uncommon, like the like sub races for those. And if you play a human, by these rules, you are allowed to use the variant traits if you want to. So if you play a human and you want to take a feat at first level, you can do that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what all the options are?
Yes. Yeah. So the options for races are, and actually a lot of this information is built into the Roll20 account, into the SRD. So if it's part of the kind of like publicly available SRD, it's in the character system under the little I in the top right corner, little compendium. And you can click that and it'll give you a list of all the rules. And you can click on things like races. And so your options are Dragonborn, which are like kind of draconic humanoids. They get breath weapons, and they're like fairly stout, hardy folk. You can be a dwarf, which is a dwarf. Everybody knows what dwarves are. They're dwarves. Same thing with you could be an elf or one of the subtypes of elf. You could be a gnome. You could be a half elf or a half orc. You can be a halfling or hobbit if you want to get intellectual property going. You can be a human, and you can be a tiefling. And a tiefling is a person with demonic blood in their history somewhere. So people tend to half-orcs and tieflings tend to be kind of like looked at askance, but not hugely. The part of the game world that we're playing in is a little bit rough and tumble, and people aren't going to judge you just because you're half-orcish. They're going to judge you because you're mean or nice or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are your options, and for each of the races, you'll get usually some kind of special ability, like the ability to see in the dark, resistance to certain kinds of attack, proficiency in certain tools or weapons, and then you'll get a modifier to your ability score, which we'll talk about when we assign the scores. So depending on what you want your character to do and what class you are, you'll want to pick a race that will supplement that. So if you want to be, a tough fighter, picking a race that has a strength or a constitution bonus. is certainly an option. And don't worry too much about like picking the right choice, because the Adventurers League rules up until level 5, if you decide that you don't like the race that you chose or you don't like your class, you can keep your experience points and you can shuffle around stuff about your character. So that way you're not like stuck with a bad choice.
I have one more question, Adam.
Yeah.
Is it relevant which god I worship?
Yes, yeah. So this game takes place in the Forgotten Realms, and as such, you're going to choose one of the gods of that world. You'll generally want to choose a god that fits your character's alignment, and the gods that have alignments that are not allowed in the Adventurers League, you can't choose them unless you want to be like at odds with your religion. So you can't, for example, you can't be neutral evil or chaotic evil. So picking a god that's either of those things will either cause conflict for your character or just be...
And can I find a list of these gods somewhere?
Yeah, they're in Appendix B of the basic rules.
Are you making this up?
No, I'm not. But you know what? I'll make you a handout. Let me take a screenshot and I'll make a handout for you right now.
Saves me getting all the books out.
Yeah, in the in Roll20, if you look at the handout section, I've added some quick reference stuff already.
Okay.
So that we don't have to keep going.
And this one you're making for me will show up there?
Yeah, and I'll make this one and everybody will be able to see it in the
Sweet
handouts.
deal.
Yeah, totally.
So looking through the races, I'm looking at the stat bonuses that I get for various things, and I am going to completely ignore them and play a tiefling because tail kung fu just sounds amazing.
Good, excellent. See, that's a valid way to choose what you want to play. You just
flavorful tail kung fu.
That's right. You just pick the best kung fu and go with that. All right, there you go, Andrew. You should be able to see the gods in there. And those are all the deities of the Forgotten Realms.
I remember a certain version of D&D where I only need to share half of my alignment with the god that I worship. Mm-hmm. Is that still the case?
There's no alignment restrictions at all in this. So
okay, great.
You'll just have to try to justify why, like, if you're lawful good and you're worshiping a chaotic evil god, what the deal is with that, for example.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so... Andrew, do you know what race you want to be?
Well, I was kind of going to decide my god that I worshipped first.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Because I feel like that's going to inform the flavor of my character a lot more than anything else.
Yes, to a cleric, it is important which gods you you worship. Keep an eye on the suggested domains too, because those domains will give you abilities as you level up. Like at level 3, like if you wanted to be a war priest, you'd want to pick a god like Tempest or Torm that'll like lead into that direction.
Yeah,
totally.
Cool. Okay. Blue Jay, do you have a preference for what your race is gonna be?
In my reading, there were 2 things that really stuck out to me. The first one is more like play style focused, and that is that halflings have a lucky perk where if they get a 1, they roll again.
Lucky's so good.
That was really interesting to me. And then the second thing was that elves can have blue hair. And that's
yes.
Cool looking perk.
Moon elves definitely can. I love that that's your binary, right? Like the super overpowered character ability or blue hair.
Yeah, that's where the line is. So that's what I'm trying to decide between.
You gotta go with the hair. I would say.
Blue hair is an overpowered character ability.
Yeah.
So what does each of these things benefit my class? Can you because I was reading up and there's no in the player basic rules there was no druid section that I saw.
Yeah. So the druid is in the player's handbook, but that's okay. You can still be one. So for a druid, you're gonna want to have like a focus on. It kind of depends on what sort of stuff you want to do as a druid. If you intend to be very kind of like fighty before you can shapeshift, you'll need to have like some strength. But the thing is, when you shapeshift, you take on the physical characteristics of the animal that you are. So if you have like 8 strength and you turn into a bear, you're not a bear with 8 strength, right? Like you're not like a sickly little bear. So for you, the stats that are most important are your wisdom,
Okay.
followed by your constitution.
Okay.
So those are important. But as a halfling, your bonus, your like stat bonus is to dexterity. So it's not directly plugging into that, but it is going to give you a bonus to potentially your armor class, your ability to hit with missile weapons. You also have lucky, which is just any class can take advantage of.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's a very, very powerful ability. Yeah.
So it looks like, in terms of wanting to up my wisdom, it looks like elf would probably be the best way. Would elf would be the best way to go there? Could I still have blue hair?
I think I'll allow it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you really want to, you could be like a human with blue hair or whatever. Like, I'm not, I'm not gonna bring the
He
canon.
is a human with blue hair, Adam. What are you trying to say?
With blue hair, I just want to go a little bit outside. Let's go with elf.
Get the pointy ears. The pointy ears are.
Well, I'm wearing a headset, so you can't tell whether or not I have pointy.
Well, I say that every day.
Yeah, somebody needs to make a headset for elves. This is some bullshit.
Elven headset.
Okay, so you want to be a wood elf?
Yes.
Makes sense for a druid.
For a druid,
right?
yeah. It sounds about right to me.
Okay, cool. All right. So when you choose your sub race, it'll modify your stats. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. But on your character sheet, you can go ahead and set wood elf for your race.
I think.
Cool. Yeah, and that won't. It's just a write-in, so it won't modify anything for you. We'll have to do that manually.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So Dave, what kind of a rogue do you want to be? What flavor of person?
Well, person is correct. I'm going to go human variant.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna take that feat.
I am going to take that feat. I think, despite wanting to take lucky because it's really powerful, I think I'm going to thematically go for sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
Because this character has a history, and that is something they have practiced a lot.
Is there a feat you can get where you can't accidentally shoot your friends?
Damn.
Well, yeah.
Please don't accidentally shoot.
The whole of 5e feat that allows you to not shoot your friends.
Yeah, exactly. It's called 5th edition. Okay, cool. Andrew, have you decided on your deity and your character?
Yeah, I want to be cleric of Mask, the god of thieves.
Nice.
Ooh.
Sneaky. Cool.
Which is
Fancy.
chaotic neutral god whose domain is trickery and whose symbol is, as you might imagine, a black mask.
Excellent.
So literal. So literal. Jeez.
Yep, that's true. Cool. Okay. So, and you said are you gonna be human?
That's a good question. I think I might be some kind of elf or something.
Yeah.
I'm still deciding. I'm
All right,
sorry.
that's fine. That's cool. We can carry on.
We could be pals.
We could be pals.
We could be pals. I mean, why would a druid and a cleric could be like, they could have had really business dealings, right?
Yes. We know more than all these people.
See, these kinds of conversations are why everybody thinks all elves know each other. Because of things like this.
Don't they though? We've been alive for hundreds of years. Obviously we'd have run into each other once or twice.
Oh, you're from Evermead? Do you know
Frank?
Frank?
I've only known them for 50 years. Casual acquaintance.
Casual, very casual. 50 years, it's casual, yeah.
Right, a casual encounter for an elf is 20 to 50 years long.
Yeah, right.
And Elven Craigslist is complicated.
We kind of know each other. I've known about him, talked to him 50 years. Yeah, it's
Actually, come to think of it, I think I want to be a dwarf.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Well, there goes that.
The sudden harsh thumbs down. No.
Wah.
Boo, dwarf.
Hey, I read up on elves. We pretty better than everybody. So.
All right, Andrew, so you want to be a dwarven cleric of Mask?
Yeah.
All right, make a greed test.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So you have your race and your class chosen. So now we can get into the mechanical bits. So you can use one of two. I'm going to suggest we go with the standard set ability score generating model, but you can also use the customizing ability scores variant. But that's a little bit more complex. If you want to use it, you can. But the standard set is that you have each of your 6 stats. You have one at 15, one at 14, one at 13, one at 12, one at 10, and one at 8. And then you modify it according to your character's your race. So they'll bump certain stats up. So like Blue Jay, for example, the game, the druid suggests that you use your highest stat for wisdom. So you could put a 15 in your wisdom. And then
that's a lot of wisdom. I don't know if I'm that wise, man.
So the reason that you'd want to have wisdom high is because all of your spells, their effectiveness is based on your wisdom. And so you'll be more effective at casting spells the higher your wisdom is.
The power gamer in me is already regretting choosing Tiefling, but it's a course by which I am 100% dedicated. So here we go.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's good to see that you're working on improving not only your character but yourself as a gamer, making suboptimal choices and trying to live with them.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. To counteract that, I've already done the customized ability score stuff, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Worth saying to everybody, if you can, make sure everything is an even number.
Even?
Because yes, even numbers are where they go up. So 12 is a +1, where 11 is a +0. So you want everything to be an even number.
That's if we're using the customized system. Otherwise, we just have 15s, 14s, 13s, 12s, 10s, and 8s.
Yeah, and then
so
modified by your racial modifiers.
Yeah, so 8, 6, 14, 14, 10.
Yeah, we'll keep using you as an example, Blue Jay. So if you put 15 in your wisdom, you can see on this sheet it's the second, the like 2-digit number. If you change that to 15, it'll automatically update all your skills that are based on wisdom. It'll add your wisdom modifier above it, which is the sort of bigger number. And then you can choose your next one for the 14. And when you get to doing your dexterity, you'll add 2, I think. How does Dave? You know more about making characters in D&D than I do. For a subrace, is it both stats? Is it both the elf, the two dex for the elf and the 1 for wood elf, or is it just the one? It is both. Okay,
it's both.
That's what I thought. I only ever played humans.
You're always an elf, and then you're also a wood elf as well as an elf.
Perfect. So whatever you put into your dexterity, you can add 2 to it. And then whatever you put in your wisdom, increase it by 1. So if you put that 15 in wisdom, you can bump it up to a 16.
Okay.
Which will give you a +3, which is pretty good.
So we have 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8.
Correct.
Okay. And for druid, you're saying wisdom is my spell casting. What I like being really charismatic in other games because I like people doing what I say.
Okay.
So I would, and then explain to me, like, give me a basic rundown. I mean, strength is obviously like strength. Constitution is like whether or not you die.
Constitution is like your ability to write long, complicated documents that say "fuck you" to the King of England. No, your Constitution. Yeah, it's how hardy and stout you are. It'll give you more hit points if you have a bonus or to it. It'll take away your hit points if you have a penalty to it.
Okay.
And then it's also for resisting. It'll affect your saving throw for like poison or other bad like physical stuff happening to you.
Okay, and then dexterity is like at agility, sort of, right?
Yeah, dexterity is hand-eye coordination, and then also physical agility, like tumbling, dodging, doing backflips, that kind of stuff is very important to anyone who's using a missile weapon or who wants to focus on like light weapons and stuff like that. It's kind of a thief rogue.
Or for instance, punching, which is also dex related.
Okay, and then intelligence. So wisdom is my spell casting. What is intelligence? Is that just going to be used in basic conversation sort of stuff?
So the thing I love, somebody, I can't remember who it was, I read this analogy between intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is not putting tomatoes in a fruit salad.
Okay.
So intelligence is knowing like factual stuff about the world. Wisdom is your character's ability to apply your thoughts to the world around you. It's also for like noticing things and picking up on people's
So like a
emotions.
perception check would go from intelligence?
It's from wisdom. So it's your ability to pick up the signals of the world around you. Intelligence is more, if you look at the skills that use it, arcana, history, nerd stuff, that kind of stuff. So it's what your character knows rather than what your character feels or observes.
Okay. So I would say put our highest stat, the 15, into wisdom, right?
Yep, and then it'll become 16 because you're a wood elf.
Okay, and then oh god, I'm so confused.
Dungeons and Dragons suggests that your second highest score be Constitution.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't want to die.
Is this like Clippy shows up and is like, I see you're trying to make a D&D character.
But
Okay.
he's got a little wizard hat.
Yeah, obviously.
Can I put? I'm getting a perk into dexterity already, right? I'm getting.
Yeah, you'll get a +2 to your dexterity.
Okay, and then I have +2 to intelligence, right?
You have +2 to dex and +1 to wisdom, and then everything else is just whatever number you put in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So +2 to wisdom and +2 to dex. Okay, then I'm gonna do 13 for my charisma. Because, yeah.
Okay.
12 to the intelligence, and then 10 to dex.
Right,
And
so your dex will become 12.
And 8 to strength. I'm
Okay.
just going to be really not strong.
Which is totally fine because you don't need to be strong because you can later shape change into things that are strong.
Okay, so do I put these on the character sheet?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and put them in on the character sheet, and that'll update all of the modifiers for you.
It's not letting me change.
Yeah, so you'll want to change the number underneath. So it's like you'll have strength,
you'll
have a number
okay.
and then another number underneath. It's the one underneath that you want to change because the number above it is the modifier.
Oh,
Quick question, Mr. DM.
Yes, Dave.
I've jumped ahead a little bit to equipment.
Mm-hmm.
In the Adventurers League player guide,
Yes.
it says I can either take my starting equipment, which I don't want to do,
Okay.
or take the maximum gold pieces for my class in chapter 5,
Yes.
because it normally gives you roll like 44 times 10 for your starting gold. Can I just have
Yes.
160?
You can. Yeah, it's whatever the max value you could have rolled would be.
Okay, awesome. That's actually much better then.
I'm just gonna once again restate my struggles with the 15 dex. It hurts me inside.
Yep.
So I changed my mind.
Okay.
Fine.
I'm a half elf, not a dwarf.
Okay. Cool.
Dang.
No, I think I'm done changing my mind for a while.
For now, until this character does.
But
Are you sure you wouldn't want to be a gnome? Maybe, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Can you remind me of the spread for stats though? It's
15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, you got it.
So I put in the stuff on my sheet, and it's for some reason it has like saving throws. It has check marked wisdom and intelligence.
Yep.
Okay.
That's cool. That's because you're a druid. Those are the saving throws that druids are better at. You'll get to apply your proficiency bonus, which is dependent on your level. It's just a bonus that gets added to basically any roll that you make on anything that has a check mark next to it. So you'll get some more of those, and actually this is a good time to do that. So underneath, let's see, we'll put these under probably tool proficiencies. So your class gives you some additional stuff that you're able to use. So at the very bottom left corner of your character sheet, there's a spot called Other Proficiencies and Languages.
Okay.
A text box.
I see it.
In that text box, I'm just gonna drop in some stuff for you so you can see what your character can do. Let's copy this and see if I can paste it. There we go. Okay, so your character, it'll show you, druids are a bit funny because for some reason they have a limitation for the kinds of weapons they can use, not based on the size of the weapon, but based on like what it's made of. Because you're a druid and I guess are against metallurgy in some cases. You can wear light armor or medium armor, and you can use a shield if you want to, but you can't wear armor or use shields made out of metal, so you'll end up with like leather or hide armor.
Okay.
Or if by some miracle you find like magical wooden armor, you could wear that.
So, chat's saying I should have 12 dex because of race.
Yes, yeah. Did you put your 10 in dexterity?
I put 10 in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so go ahead and bump it up. And then your wisdom should also be 16.
My wisdom should be 16. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Just want to make sure this is all correct. Thank you, chat.
Cool. And then for weapons, you can use clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, slings, and spears. And those are all, I've written those all down in your other
I see that.
proficiency
Thank
section.
you.
You're also proficient in the herbalism kit. So you can use that to make things and to craft herbs and spices and medicine and stuff. So you'll have that.
Medicine is good.
Medicine is good. Yeah. Now you're gonna have to choose. Here's a choosing part. So you're gonna need to choose two of the following skills, and when you choose them, just check the box next to the skill. This will add your proficiency bonus to that skill. So here are the skills, and we can talk about what they mean because not all of them are necessarily clear. So two of these: Arcana, Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, or Survival.
Okay.
So Arcana is knowing things about magic stuff. So if I say, the wizened necromancer begins to chant and strange glowing runes appear in the air, you can make an Arcana check to be like, what's that necromancer doing?
What is he doing right now?
What's that about? And that's based on your character's intelligence. So it's just knowing about magic stuff. Animal handling is handling animals. That's pretty straightforward. Insight is used predominantly for what is this person feeling? Are they lying to me? Why is this dwarf merchant so sweaty? You can use it to pick up on subtle cues about people's behavior and get kind of intuitive responses about the world. Medicine is for making and applying medicine. It's also for saving people who are dying. That'll predominantly fall on Andrew's character, but if Andrew goes down, somebody with medicine is useful.
Okay.
Nature is a knowledge skill for everything to do with nature, identifying plants and animals, knowing things about the weather. Basically, if you ask me anything about the world, if you interrogate the fiction of the game and it has to do with the weather or nature in any way, we'll make a roll for that.
Okay.
Perception is just your character's ability to notice things. Hidden stuff, traps, people hiding from you. This is what opposes stealth. And then religion is just knowing about the religions of the world, recognizing the symbols of gods, knowing what rituals they perform, that kind of stuff. And then survival is all of the ability to survive in the wild. So scavenging for food, finding safe water, making camp, that kind of stuff. That's all built into survival.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of insight.
Yeah, insight's very useful.
My charisma is so high. I also want to be able to look and I want to know people's motivations as well as be able to manipulate them. Yeah.
Because that's the first step, right? Knowing what a person wants is a good way to get them to do what you want.
Yes. So how many do I get to pick?
You pick two.
Pick two.
Two of those from that list. So insight and one of the other ones.
Okay. Can I do insight and medicine?
Yeah, definitely.
Just click them?
Yeah, put a checkbox next to either of those.
Okay, cool. So that way I am not totally useless, hopefully.
Yeah, now if I ask you for an insight check, if you need to make a skill check, you notice on your character sheet if you hover over any of the skill names, you can click them. Just go ahead and click insight. Yeah, there you go. So what the game will do, and the reason why there's two of every roll, is that sometimes during the game you'll have advantage or disadvantage. Advantage meaning you roll twice and pick the best one. Disadvantage meaning you roll twice and pick the worst one. If you're not rolling with advantage or disadvantage, we'll always go with the number on the left. So in this case, that would be a really good insight check, right? You rolled a d20, you added 5 because you have a proficiency bonus and you have a +3 in wisdom. And then you got an 18. And if you ever want to see,
it does that math for you. I like that.
And if you ever want to break down the math, you can hover the number so you can see what the number you rolled was.
I see that. Awesome. Okay, cool.
It'll show up red if you rolled a 1, or it'll show up green if you rolled a 20. So we can tell if it's a crit or a fumble too.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. Let me check in with everybody else. How's everybody's character stuff going?
Yeah.
Dave, you and Elf, I'm kind of like taking a laissez-faire approach because I know y'all know how to make D&D characters.
Yeah, I'm on it already. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I trust y'all. So I'll let you. If you have questions or need any specific stuff, let me know. But we'll do.
Just wondering if the background, like specific information, is super relevant at this time, or.
Yeah, so backgrounds, because lifestyle is a thing you use downtime days for to maintain it. It is important to pick one of the lifestyles. The available lifestyles are in a handout. I put them in Roll20.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah,
so you can pick from there.
From that set, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more the specific information that's in each of those lifestyles, like the 1 to 6, like background stuff and whatever. I'm wondering if
you can roll or pick from the table or make up your own. That stuff doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's more
okay. Perfect.
Generate whatever's going to help you generate inspiration. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So how are you doing, Andrew, for your character?
It's coming along. I've picked my stats and my skills.
Excellent. Good. Cool. So you're all caught up with where Blue Jay is at. Okay. Cool. So let's finish fleshing out the class stuff.
Okay.
So Blue Jay, as a druid, you'll get some special druid abilities. You can. I'm gonna just take a look at your character sheet to see where to write these. Under other proficiencies and languages, where I put all your weapon and armor stuff.
Okay.
Go ahead and return down. Give yourself some more room after spears, and add in maybe put in like language and then a colon and druidic. So you get to speak secret druid language.
Secret druid language.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So it's the secret language of druids. You can use it to leave hidden messages. You and others who know this language automatically spot such a message. Others spot the message presence with a successful DC 15 perception check, but can't decipher it without magic. So it's like your secret druid language.
Secret druid language. Yeah. Very cool.
Cool. And then the other main thing that you have is at first level is spell casting. So if you scroll back up to the top of your sheet, on the right, you can see you've got some tabs. You have core, bio, and spells.
Yeah.
If you click on spells, that'll take you over to your spell section, and you know 2 cantrips. Cantrips are spells that you can cast essentially just over and over whenever you want to. They're basically little like druid magic tricks.
Okay.
So you can cast those. You'll know 2 of them. And then you get 2 first level spell slots.
Okay, so where do I see these spells?
Yeah, so under cantrips, you can see, actually under all the different spell levels, these are divided by level, so it's 0, 1, 2 on the left.
Okay.
You can click the plus to add additional spells to the section. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of different ways to do that. And the sheet will take care of how many spells you get. Like you notice it filled in the 2 already. Next to level 1.
Oh, 2 level 1 spells. I see it, and 0 on everything else.
And 0 everything else. So as you gain levels as a druid, it will just automatically update that for you. And if you want to take a look at the spells, you can go over on the right to the compendium, the little I in the circle. And the very bottom of the list is spells.
The little I in the circle.
Yeah, top right corner of Roll20, like the letter I in a circle.
Searching. Okay, I see. That's a lot.
So this is all the spells in the game. Now you're gonna need to refer just to, and I'll make a quick handout for you. You're gonna want to refer just to your first level druid spells. Now you can cast all of them. You have access to all the spells, but you can only prepare 2 of them every day. Okay. So at the beginning of the day, or between rests, you have to determine like, okay, I think today I'm gonna need these spells.
Okay.
So you have a little bit more flexibility, but you can only cast 2. And then for cantrips, you'll pick 2 that you know.
And those are just ones that I know.
Yeah. So, for example, let's look at the druid cantrips. So, druid cantrips are druid craft, guidance, mending, poison spray, which sounds kind of intense, produce flame, resistance, shillelagh, which turns a stick into a magic stick, and thorn whip. And
Nothing
if you
is
wanted
that
to,
Nothing says druid like magic stick.
yeah, shillelagh is a pretty good.
Where you get that like magic stick that does random things every time. The Wabbajack. Reminds me of the Wabbajack. Oh my god.
So for I'll use shillelagh as an example because shillelagh is a great spell and it's just really fun to say.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can look through this list of spells, and if you click on them, they'll give you the details of that spell. So it'll tell you the range. It'll tell you what the spell does. It tells you all kinds of cool stuff. Shillelagh is really cool because you can imbue a club or quarterstaff to deal damage and attack rolls based on your wisdom instead of strength.
Which is good because my strength is poop.
Exactly. So it's your magic bludgeoning stick of wisdom, and it deals a D8 damage if it doesn't already. So it's actually kind of a good spell.
My magic stick of wisdom. Wow.
Okay, so what else do we have? So now that I know I can click on them, I'll just click on them.
Yeah,
and
so you can click to look through them. Now, the other thing, what's really cool is with this, if you want to make shillelagh one of your cantrips, you can drag and drop shillelagh into a spell slot. So under cantrips, the little plus sign will open up a new spell, and if you just click and drag shillelagh, it'll autofill for you.
What? That's
So
cool.
now shillelagh is in there. And if you decide you don't want shillelagh anymore, you can click the little lock at the bottom, and it'll give you a trash can to throw shillelagh out.
Throw it out. Okay, so what were the druid spells again? So I could like click and look at.
I've got a little list here that I can copy paste for you, but
Copy pasta.
yeah, you can always just Google it too, because I don't want you to have to remember every single one. But so yeah, druid craft, guidance, mending, poison spray, produce flame, resistance, shillelagh, and thorn whip.
Okay.
So you can.
I'm trying to click on them. Guidance. I'm trying to click on them in the Roll20 app list of spells. So after guidance, what do we have?
Mending, poison spray. Yeah, I'll give you a second to find them. I'll grab a snap of these for you so you can.
Poison spray right here. Okay. And what else? Shillelagh I already have.
Yeah, Druidcraft, Guidance, Mending, Poison Spray, Produce Flame, Resistance, Shillelagh, and Thorn Whip.
Resistance, Shillelagh. That just sounds so cool.
Okay, I linked.
Okay.
In the Zoom chat, I linked you just a PNG, like a grab of a list.
I'm gonna look at those and get back to you.
Yeah, guidance is really useful because it gives advantage to anybody. Speaking as someone who has abused guidance before, guidance lets you give advantage to anyone making a skill check.
It doesn't.
It's a D4.
Oh yeah, that's right, D4. Yeah, which is better or worse depending on the chaos plateau.
And it behooves me to mention, while Shillelagh is incredibly cool, if you're going to focus on shapeshifting, you won't be able to use it.
I won't be using that?
No.
You can't be a bear swinging.
Become an animal.
Right, but you can't
That makes
shapeshift
sense.
to level 2. So Shillelagh at level 1 is maybe useful if you want to get in a fight, but
It's really worth. And I know I shouldn't make things more complicated. Druid is very much in that you choose shapeshift druid or caster druid at level 2, and it really.
Well, and remember that we do have rules for changing our minds about things, right? So if we don't like the spells we've chosen, we can always go back.
Stick with the magic stick OP.
And then and then the other, after you've picked your 2 cantrips, I'll do the same thing. I'll link you a list of your first level spells. These ones you can cast any 2 of them any day, so you don't have to just pick 2 now.
Okay. But the cantrips, I need to just pick 2.
Yeah, right now pick 2. Yeah, pick 2 cantrips that you like, and drag them into your sheet. Cool. Okay. So while you're doing that, let's check in on our cleric because you've got some similar stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on my spells right now, which is why I accidentally spammed them out.
I was like, are you trying to tell me something right
Guidance.
now? Are you trying to tell me something?
What I'm trying to tell you is that I am taking the spell guidance.
Okay, cool. I mean,
But you can also have it.
I don't need to help other people. Shh.
There's no reason not to have multiple people.
Druids are known for their selfish behavior.
Right?
They really are, though, true neutral assholes.
I only care about nature, not you. So go guidance yourself.
Yeah, guidance your own self, dude.
All right. So for a cleric, Andrew, you're gonna get.
So I have my spell list already.
Yeah, similar
I
jam.
found a way to search for it in the
perfect.
thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
I can get guidance, light, mending, resistance, sacred flame, spare the dying, and thaumaturgy. And I'm thinking I want to get guidance, spare the dying. I mean, spare the dying, obviously, it's going to come up. And then maybe resistance.
Yeah, resistance is useful.
I just want to be like straight helpful.
Yep.
Help people cheat death.
Yep, totally useful.
Speaking as a member of this party, I really enjoy not dying.
Yep. Especially a member of this party who is going to
Sometimes,
be in close proximity punching and kicking people.
And has only 14 AC.
But Adam, can you go over how to like drag these spells into play?
Yeah. So on your character sheet, if you open up the sheet, so you want guidance as one of your cantrips.
But I think I accidentally named my guidance spare the dying. I think I'm messing things up.
Well, here I'll clear your spells for you.
Kill it all.
Just destroy it. We'll separate you from God, and you can atone for your sins of misclicking.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
So on your character sheet, to click and drag. So let's do guidance first. You find the spell in the list, and then click the name. And I'll do this for you just because I'm showing people on chat. Click the name of the spell in the list. Drag it over to the spell, and you have to have the spell like open to do that. So it's the same little yellow
hit the
dotted line.
plus, drag a thing over.
Yeah, it'll turn yellow to let you know you're about to do it, and then let go, and it'll just auto-fill, and then you're good to go.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I click the gear to minimize it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's see if this works from the screen that I'm in.
Okay.
It totally does.
Yeah.
Oops, no, I dragged the link in the wrong place.
Yeah, so you can add your other cantrips as you go through that.
Mr. DM again.
Yeah, hit me.
How encumbrance is a rule
Yeah.
that exists in this system.
Yep.
Are we going to do it as written?
Yeah. So on the core section of your sheet, you've got a spot for equipment. If you put the item name in, and then you can put how much it weighs on the right of that, and it'll just add it all up for you for your total weight.
Oh, it's so hard when you've got 8 strength. You can't carry anything.
Ha
Yeah, whereas the rest of us are going to have big, broad shoulders to carry your dead weight.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of the things feel like they weigh way too much.
The great thing about being a monk is I'm basically naked.
It's true. Yeah, you don't need to carry shit. You don't need weapons or armor. You just need to punch people. Cool. Okay. Well, we're at a point where folks are looking at lists and stuff. So why don't we take a short break? I'll leave y'all to dig through your list for a little bit, and when we come back, we'll carry on with character stuff. I need to Blue Jay and Andrew. I need both of you just to make sure we have all your race stuff on your character sheet. So don't let me forget that when we come back.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So stick around. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back.